Okay,
Batman
I've
1,
got it.
grade 4. I'm Hannibal Tabu. I'm the head comics reviewer at bleedingcool.com, winner of the 2012 Top Cow Talent Hunt, 2019 Cultural Trailblazer Award from the City of Los Angeles Department of Cultural Affairs, and I'm currently the co-writer of MPLS Sound from Humanoids Publishing, Time Core from Wonderman Comics, and the upcoming War Medicine from also Wonderman Comics, which will be coming this year. In November, you can buy Project Wildfire from Second Sight Publishing in your local comic book shops, and I may have some more surprises this summer just to heat things up for you. Keep an eye out on HannibalTaboo.com.
Hey, I'm Michael Tanner. I'm a co-creator of Junior Braves of the Apocalypse and co-writer of Orcs in Space, which is available now from your local comic book store. Also, I'm host of Burn After Pitching here on the Grand Geek Gathering Network.
Good dialogue is very hard to do. You can choose to closely mimic actual conversational rhythms, and then you'll get stuck in frippery. I'm not going to name any names, but we've definitely seen that in comics. On the other hand, if you're too stiff, the characters are boring, and you're just reading what I need to say to get to the next plot point, which is not engaging. The goal is to balance characters, saying things that both move the plot forward and reveal who they are in the process. Captain America or Superman or Wonder Woman, they make motivational speeches. Deadpool and Spider-Man, they make jokes. Vader threatens. All of these are intentional choices that have to be wielded very carefully, or you can get caught up either one way or another, too plot heavy, too character heavy. It's always a balancing act, and it's a difficult one at best. So definitely kudos to everybody who gets it right. And I don't even know if I'm among that number sometimes.
Okay, I think comics are a very interesting medium for when it comes to dialogue. I think it's really a case of the writer making a kind of poetry and thinking about the beats of how someone's going to read something in their head. Also, I think a lot of it falls on the letterer to really convey how the dialogue is going to appear on the page and how a reader is going to interpret it. So I think good dialogue often relies on, I've heard it said, don't make your word balloons longer than a tweet, but that was when tweets were much shorter. So you want to kind of keep it concise while conveying all the information in a way that will stand out. But you also have to keep in mind having your characters have unique voices. Marv Wolfman always says that when he was writing Teen Titans, if there was a panel that just showed the Teen Titans ship flying and you just saw word balloons coming off of it, you had to be able to tell who was saying each line, regardless of being able to regardless of the bubble pointing to the right person, because the bubble was just pointing to a ship, it wasn't pointing to the individual team member. So you got to make your dialogue fit each character and really sell it so a reader understands what a character is saying and that their point of view comes across in the dialogue. And if you do that well, it's going to be very memorable. You can also kind of use some of the tricks that other writers, larger name writers use, which is a lot of repetition and a lot of back and forth to really hit points home. You'll see it in television and movies. Aaron Sorkin does this kind of thing a lot. Some comic book writers will also do it. It's memorable because it relies on repetition and getting a rhythm stuck in your head. So there's two ways: repetition and just having a very good writer and letterer working together to really kind of make it poetry on the page.
Wow, this is definitely from an era when people were much more comfortable with ridiculous ideas and things like physics and realism. Screw all that noise, it doesn't matter. A rainbow creature here, I love the composition of it because it's clearly supposed to be othered, a sort of thing that you're not supposed to take as a human thing or something that you should relate to. And Batman, despite the fact having some pretty things that would probably mess up a lot of your internal organs, doesn't seem too worried. And that kind of, oh shucks, we'll just go along with it attitude went a long way to make the comics of this era kooky and fun and possibly fitting for the time that they were in.
Okay, so this image here, I'm really loving everything that's happening here. I love the design of the monster or the rainbow creature. There's a lot going on in this design. It's 4 colors, and the textures on the middle two sections of the rainbow creature are very different from the outer side. So there's a lot of detail thrown into this monster. It's got kind of a jack-o'-lantern face, which I really like, and it's got the kind of like red rocky and blue rocky edges, but the inside, the yellow is a little softer and the green is like electric. It reminds me of Zax, the Incredible Hulk villain who's made out of electricity. So I'm loving this design. I'm loving the aura, the green aura coming off of him. And Batman and Robin acknowledging at this time they are two-dimensional people, which is every comic book character from that era. So it's a little meta. I'm really enjoying that kind of commentary on comic books from that era. I assume that that's what the creators were going for, is commentary on superhero comics from the, I'm going to assume 50s or maybe early 60s for this one. It's great. I really love this image.
Wow, there's a lot going on here. I mean, which one of us has not experienced yet another dinosaur in the department store? I mean, they hog up the elevators, they want to mess up the bathrooms, they're a hot mess. I get that. What's funny to me, this is from 1964, there was a lot of stuff around Wonder Woman and domesticity and the sort of trappings of what femininity or what women were about. And the fact that she's gone to a department store and ends up fighting as the dinosaur is totally fitting the kind of kooky tone of what was happening there. Now, it's not like we can't say that C.C. Beck also had, Captain Marvel doing a lot of things, Shazam for you kids these days, or whatever. But the ridiculousness was part of it. The camp was intentional, and seeing that played out in a way that's actually threatening is an interesting and fun, I believe, juxtaposition for these sorts of things. So yeah, again, and Wonder Woman does not seem worried. She's clearly already handled at least one dinosaur in this department store. She's still got shopping to do. She's not done. She hasn't checked off everything on her list. So for her, this may have been the greatest day of your life, but for her, it's just Tuesday. And that's very entertaining.
All right. Why I like this panel so much is that, taken as it is, it works perfectly as a Far Side cartoon. You put that in a Sunday paper on its own, put the Far Side over it. It's a Far Side cartoon because it's another dinosaur in a department store. That makes it the joke. That lands the joke. It's perfect. Also, I like that dinosaurs in this era are just dragons, because they didn't know anything about what dinosaurs actually looked like back then. So I like it on those two levels. But man, that is the perfect Far Side cartoon.
You can find my reviews every week on bleedingcool.com. Likewise, you can also check me on the Nerdorama with Mo and Tawala podcast on iHeartRadio. That's every Wednesday by about 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You will also find, as I noted, Project Wildfire in your local comic book stores this November from Second Sight Publishing. Please look for that in previews in September. You will see soon War Medicine online, which is a new supernatural western from Wonderman Comics. I've got my ongoing series Time Core, which is a science fiction book from Wonderman Comics. Issue 16 is on all your local, all your online booksellers as well. And of course, MPLS Sound from Humanoids Publishing, co-written with Joe Illidge, and that's available right now.
All right, you can find me on my website, buymichaeltainer.com. Also, check out my new series, Orcs in Space, available in comic shops now. And listen to me on Burn After Pitching, my comedy pitching podcast through the Grand Geek Gathering Network.